to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful time to be a sports fan right now. You got lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. It's so much fun, and one of the best parts of our week is coming in live here at the Pigskin Project, where you get to hear not only Vince Gray's thunderous voice in our intro and our drops, but our amazing voices as well through every single segment. We progress through so much during the week to prepare for this. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into the show on a weekly basis. We're really looking forward to everything that's transpired this week. Lots of big trades, lots of free agency signings and everything, and we're just getting started. This has been crazy. So without further ado, everybody, if you've already been here, you already know how I like to start off the show. Bringing in my co-host here, Ben. How are we doing? I can't hear you. We got to try it one more time. Hold on a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, like you said, this is like, if you're a sports fan and you just like sports as a whole and not just football, I mean, if you are just a football fan, welcome. Love to have you guys. But if you're more than just a football fan, this is the time, man. Like you said, free agency opened up technically today, but stuff has been happening the last few days. March Madness is about to start. The end of the basketball regular season is starting. Spring training's going on. Baseball World Classic is happening right now. So there's just a whole lot of stuff happening right now, and it is just some of the best time to be a sports fan. It is phenomenal.
It truly is beautiful because right now in the NFL, you get to see the league just kind of transform into who's a contender and who's not anymore, who's building to be a franchise that's built to succeed in the future. And everybody knows who I'm talking about there, and who's going to be slowly disintegrating Packers into the future as well. So, I mean, who knows? This is so much fun. You've got a lot of teams that are in the mix of a lot of different things, and there may even be some breaking news that happens right in the middle of our broadcast today. If you are listening at a later date on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms, thank you very much, first off. Second off, you might already know this. So what we're going to do is provide our takes to literally everything that's happened so far this week. We're going to cover who we think the winner of free agency is this podcast episode as well. Ben might get a college corner today, depending on time. Hopefully, if not, tune into our mock draft afterwards. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then we'll always play Weddle because that's just what we love to do. And then after that, we're going to do Gridiron Goofs as we always do. We will reveal the topic for Gridiron Goofs as we get into it. We already have it set and everything. Very excited. Kyle Gagliardi saying the Packers live rent-free in my head. That is wrong, but Kyle Gagliardi saying go Hoosiers.
Yes, I could not agree more. Go Hoosiers. Would love to see him pull a Final Four here in Bloomington. I'd love to see a chip back here in Bloomington. Hang a banner. Don't know if it'll happen. Completely agree with you, though, Kyle.
That's crazy because, I think I have them. I do. I have them losing to my Cinderella story team, Drake, in the round of 32. So I'm rooting for them, though. I will say, don't get me wrong. I love to watch Indiana basketball. They are a lot of fun. I'm myself. We've talked about it before. I'm a big Kentucky fan, but they suck this year. So I'm kind of looking around at other teams and being like, which team do I want to follow throughout the bracket as well? Because my team might not last that long. Kyle Gagliardi saying, I have them losing to Houston in the Elite Eight, but I love the Drake play. Dude, who knows? There's
I'm ready
always
to have
somebody.
my heart broken. I have them in the Final Four. I know it's unrealistic. I know they shouldn't probably be there in the Final Four in my bracket, but I'm ready to have my heart broken. Let's see if we can get a little bit of push going.
Hey, what I will say too, let's get into weekly news, which is
Yes.
pretty much the primary topic of this podcast episode. As we start talking about a little bit of heartbreak, let's get into it.
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
So thinking about heartbreak, it's now Darius Slade is
it's
staying with
now
the Eagles. That's
it's
crazy.
now likely. Wow, we'll get into it in a little bit.
Yes. So we'll break it and then we'll cover it later on. So
Yes.
The big news today is that Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show. And he absolutely, I mean, although he said thank you a bunch of times and I love you a bunch of times to Green Bay, it also seemed like he had a little bit of bittersweet comments to it as well. He also admitted that he wants to be a New York Jet, but he's not the reason why it is, delaying a little bit for it to happen, because the compensation hasn't been figured out yet. The deal hasn't been done, but in Aaron Rodgers' head, he's already played his last down as a Packer, and he's ready to be a Jet.
Yeah, well, the big takeaway there too is, obviously the Pat McAfee came out, so like that was like the most they had like 500,000 people watching it a point. But if you guys weren't there, like you said, Ryan summed it up pretty well. But more than anything, my takeaway wasn't that, Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Jet. It's something we kind of all knew. But it was when he came out of the darkness retreat, the Jets were kind of like, we don't want you anymore. And that more than anything was the thing
Packers, you mean?
I don't know why I said Jets. I meant the Packers. But yeah, the Packers were like, we don't really want you anymore. And that more than anything was what really caught me off guard. But yeah, like you said, what's holding it up is the compensation. And the rumor out there is they want 2 firsts for him, which I don't think will happen. You don't get 2 firsts for a 38-year-old quarterback making $50 million. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, Packers fans.
Something else as well that came out of that episode of the Pat McAfee show, which, by the way, awesome show. Love Pat McAfee to death.
Oh, yeah.
But something else that came out of it is that Aaron Rodgers was like 90% okay with retiring when he went into the darkness retreat. When he came back out and he heard about, oh man, like, they don't want me anymore. We'll see about it. If the Packers had just said like, look, like we're not really looking to it, I think it's time for us to part ways, then this is when, he would just be like, no problem. I'll just step out of the way. No big deal. But the way that they went about it and they shopped him while he was gone and everything like that is what made him kind of decide, all right, well, let's go ahead and get this thing going again. Let's see what I have in the tank. And so, I don't know. I will say I have mixed feelings about it because I also understand where he's coming from. As a football fan, I appreciate what he's done for the game because, like it or not, as a Bears fan, he is a great player and he will be a Hall of Famer. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is crazy news. First off, let me clarify something that I said on Twitter to Kyle Gagliardi while he's still in the chat. As a Bears fan, I absolutely hope that Jordan Love works out. I absolutely do. Best of luck to Green Bay, actually. I send my kindest regards to them. The trash talk will not stop. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, from fan base to fan base, respect to respect, hopefully, I'm getting it back, in other ways as well. I'm hoping that it does work out. Jordan Love, it looks to be the next Green Bay Packers starting quarterback, and it's a different direction for Green Bay. And so I hope that he succeeds, but it is too early to tell right now. And it's also nerve-wracking for Green Bay because this is his 5th year. This is his last year. You have 1 year to decide whether or not this guy's the guy. And I don't know.
Well,
for me, I think maybe
I'm
they
going to
signed
clear
him.
that up. It's his 4th year. And then they have to decide by the end of next month, I think is what it is, if they're going to sign him to his 5th-year contract extension. So he's going into his 4th year, and then they have to decide whether or not they want to sign him to the 5th year.
A couple comments from Kyle as well. He said, "Get them to eat the cap space, and the picks won't matter." Which, by the way, Kyle, I will be sending you a message regarding the NFL draft, so keep that posted.
It's the second comment here that really, I know it was a can of worms we wanted to get into eventually, more so when the trade happened.
Let's dive into it
might as well get into
bound
it
to
right
happen.
Now. Yeah.
So the comment reads, "Do you guys think the Jets win the division? I think with Miami and the Bills, it's going to be tough." Dude, I love rooting for the Bills because they're that underdog team. Don't get me wrong. I think that that's somebody that it will be a powerhouse, but right now I'm so frustrated that they couldn't get it done in the playoffs that I am very, I'm very frustrated at them to where I don't know where this is going to go. But you look at Miami, primarily to me, I think that it relies on the health of Tua Tagovailoa. I think if he can stay healthy, then the Dolphins will be they'll be very well off. That secondary that they have in place is going to be ridiculous. Between Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. That's crazy. So I think the favorite in my head right now would be Miami without looking at their opponents and everything, where everything stands. But yeah, I to be honest with you, the Jets getting Aaron Rodgers doesn't move the needle that much for me.
No.
Despite the fact that, like I said, Aaron Rodgers is a very good player. He had a very subpar year, and it's going to take a lot for Aaron Rodgers to be able to prove me wrong, which I can see happening. But right now, I don't see him being that, oh my God, the Jets are favorites now in that division because of that. So Kyle Gagliardi said OTSN is doing a mock draft show. Maybe you can do some kind of collab. Hey, our arms are always open to anything. So just hit me up after the show. We can get something done. And then he also said, yeah, I agree. I think the Jets can still miss the playoffs. Absolutely.
I don't know if it's a matter of them missing the playoffs. I would be surprised if they trade for Rodgers and they don't at least get in the wild card. But yeah, it's a conversation that we've had behind the scenes. Like I said, that we're waiting to have, but like Packers fans, plug your ears. Aaron Rodgers played a very mediocre ball. And I think the reason we were happy with him the last 8 games was because he was going undefeated, but just because he looked better than what he did at the beginning of the season. And that was really bad at the beginning of the season. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is a two-time consecutive MVP. Very good. You don't want to take that away. Super Bowl winning, one of the best quarterbacks of our generation. But he didn't play like that last year. And if they're getting that same Aaron Rodgers, I do think the Jets team is good enough as a team to at least make a wild card push. But I really don't think if Aaron Rodgers played the way he did last year, this upcoming year, I don't think it's going to be enough to push them over the likes of Miami or even Buffalo. It's I don't know. It's that AFC is going to be just fun to watch, and it'll be interesting to just see where the whole situation ends up going. So
the hope for New York right now is sitting at a wild card berth, and that's just not great. Let's stay in-house in the division because another huge trade happened. The first overall pick of the draft was traded to Carolina. And I know that this is older news, but this happened within the last week. Jets make it seem like it's Super Bowl or bust and need to chill. Absolutely. But okay, when it comes to the first overall pick, bouncing back, Carolina traded DJ Moore, number 19, number 61, so a first and second, and then a first and second in 23, according to Spot Track. But I thought that first was in 2020. I don't know why it said 2023. I think the first is in 2024 and the second is in 2025. So either way, the Bears got 2 firsts and 2 seconds out of it, and they got DJ Moore. The report is the Bears could have had 3 first-round picks, but instead they decided to get DJ Moore. So, Ben, congratulations.
We're both, I was going to say, we're both happy. Polls did a beautiful thing for the both of us. You got your trade in wide receiver 1. I get a free meal out of it. It's a win-win situation. It is great. I'm here for it. Say Elmo's on Ryan.
Yeah. Okay. What I will say really quick, because I want everybody to know that I am not crazy overreacting about this just yet. I think this first round pick is going to be great, except we're going to dive into like the free agency signings that Carolina's been doing. And I'm a little frightened that they're going to stay at least somewhat competitive in that horrible division. Not only that, but DJ Moore, right? He's great. He's an awesome receiver. I think, he's for sure wide receiver one. He's a difference maker. He's going to spread out that wide receiver core. I think the wide receiver core is set for right now. I think you can obviously extend upon that. It complicates a little bit when it comes to Claypool and Mooney. You think about, one or the other next year for who you're going to re-sign, right? Mooney with his injury, history, his slight injury history. And then Claypool as well, that underperformed after the trade. So you're looking at, if you don't re-sign Claypool, that trade is considered a failure. If you don't re-sign Mooney, you're not bringing back Justin's arguably favorite target. So it's a little bit risky. I don't see them bringing back both next year, but what I can see is potentially the Bears drafting a wide receiver and them sticking around, something like that. But when it comes to DJ Moore, Bears fans are making it seem like we traded for a top 10 receiver. I love DJ Moore to death. This is awesome, but he's not quite top 10. People need to kind of a little bit. But what I will say, he's definitely top 15, easily top 15, but he's not quite top 10. He's not your Stephon Diggs or anything like that. People are comparing it to Josh Allen getting Stephon Diggs and everything. Walker to Moore is going to be fun. We'll get to that as well because PJ Walker signed with the Bears. Solid pickup, by the way. We'll get there. As far as this goes, I'm very excited to see where it can go. But in no way am I thinking that this is, just as much of the duo as like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, Tua and Tyreek, and Burrow and Chase. That's a tough.
Devontae Smith and AJ Brown.
So I don't know how far ahead is DJ Moore than Devontae Smith to you.
I don't think it's too far. I really think
who's over the other.
Well, I would say DJ Moore's better than Devontae Smith. I'm not that delusional. But also I think that's team dependent. I think if Smitty would walk in and be a wide receiver one on a team, I think he could be. I'm not saying he is, but I think he could be or produce a top 10 wide receiver. I think Eagles fans take for granted how lucky we are. I see Dallas Goedert, a top 5 pass catching tight end. We have a top 3 wide receiver pass catching duo in Smitty and AJ Brown. And I get lucky watching that, but then I look and I see Bears fans being like, we have Mooney and DJ Moore. And I was like, oh, they're happy about that. I was like, we're spoiled. And that's awesome for you. And I'm not that's no shot to Bears. I think that's good.
No.
But I just think that shows how spoiled I think we can be. And we'll get a little bit more into Eagles fans being spoiled in a little bit.
Yeah. So, okay. Other big trades that happened. Let's shoot back. Go. Oh, yeah.
Well, real quick too, just to do that. The really interesting thing is what the Panthers are going to do with that pick. For a long time, everyone was like Bryce Young. But it kind of seems like they're leaning towards CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, which I'm not too surprised about because some people have concerns about his size, Bryce Young's size and stuff. But then also, what do the Bears do now at 9? If you're the Bears, now that opens up numerous more possibilities. Again, a situation I don't want to talk too much on until we get full information on. But Jalen Carter, there's a chance he slides to 9. You could draft one of the top 2 tackles there in the class in Peter or Paris. If you really wanted to, you could take a skill position player in Jackson Smith-Njigba or Bijan. And those options weren't there when you picked at number 1. But now this really opens up the world to numerous different trade possibilities and pick possibilities for the Bears. And that's not to even say there are reports saying that, like, maybe the Panthers will move down to 2 and swap with the Texans. If the Texans really like Bryce Young and you're a Panthers GM and you really like Stroud or AR, why would you not move down?
Right.
So it opens up, numerous more possibilities. And it'll be fun to see what you guys do, if you guys move back up, if you guys move back down, see what the Panthers end up doing, if they stay put, trade back down. It opens up numerous different world of possibilities, and it's going to be really fun to see what's going to happen with that over the next 2 months.
We have 6 weeks until the draft. It's going to be draft week in 6 weeks. And what that means for us is that we have 6 mock drafts that we're going to put out. So to see what we would like to do with that 9th overall pick, maybe even see some trades and stuff like that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for our mock draft episodes on a weekly basis. So our next trade, we're going to stay in the realm of what we were just talking about with the Aaron Rodgers potential trade that's going to happen. Ramsey to Miami for Hunter Long and a 2023 third-round pick. Wow, Ramsey got dealt for a bag of chips. That was my first reaction. A lot of these trades that we're going to be covering is a lot of, wow, that was nothing. So to be fair, Ramsey, I mean, I believe he's getting slightly up there in age. Is
29, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say he's getting close to 30. But, I mean, Hunter Long took some Googling for me, man. I know probably not for you, but I'm
Hunter Long, Boston College.
Not a crazy
28.
Not a crazy tight end. And I mean, a third-round pick it's pretty decent as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, not crazy, except for the fact that we already made this point. Jalen Ramsey in that Miami secondary is going to be deadly. Next trade, I don't think we need to cover this one too much, but Shaq Mason in a 2023 7th to Tampa for a 2023 6th-round pick. Again, nothing too crazy. I think Shaq Mason's also getting up there in age. This one was big this morning, I believe it was, right? I think it was either this morning or the morning before. Darren Waller to the Giants for a 2023 third-round pick. So Waller with his injuries, that's unfortunate for him. Definitely hurt the compensation for the Raiders. But I think Waller gets a pretty decent team upgrade almost, just because, I mean, the Giants needed a receiver, and that's definitely a deadly threat if he can stay healthy. So decent. I'm just going to keep rolling just because I think this is covering all the bases.
I'll cut you off if I have anything to add.
Yeah, I figured you would too. The last one that I would like to cover is Gilmore to Dallas for a 2023 5th-round pick. Another crazy secondary. But, I mean, Gilmore, I think, is also kind of stepping down in talent.
Yeah.
He used to be the greatest corner in the league, but now he's just kind of like Stephon
good number 2 cornerback,
Yeah, not horrible.
Yeah, I agree. It was a win-win situation. The Colts cleared a decent amount of money off their books. The Cowboys got a decent CB2, so it was a win-win for both of them.
Yeah. So without further ado, as I type with one hand, we're going to free agency signings.
Okay.
These are the big ones that, go ahead. What am I?
Yeah. Well, before you get there, the one last thing I would like to cover, because I don't quite know where this bad boy falls, is this whole Darius Slay situation. If you guys have seen me smiling, glancing over and smiling and glancing over and smiling, it's because of everything that's happening with Darius Slay. This kind of goes to signings, and maybe this was a better spot to put it. But they signed all-pro cornerback James Bradbury to a 3-year contract extension. I think it was like $12.5 million per year, which by the way is a steal. He's an all-pro making under the 50. Like I think his contract is like the 16th highest like annual for like a cornerback, and he was an all-pro. So steal of a contract. But when that happened, people were like, yay, they're back together. And then reports came out this morning that like the Eagles are going to cut Darius Slay and he's gone. And then, he's going to be a Raven. That's what it looked like for a really long time. But then 4:00 rolled around to when the new year was, and all like the trades actually went through and all of the cuts went through. The Kenny Golladay cut went through, all the trades, the number 1 overall pick, all the trades you just covered, everything went through. But the Darius Slay cut didn't go through, and everyone's like, what's happening? And then 2 or 3 hours later, reports come out, Eagles really don't want to get rid of him, and it's really hard for him to get rid of him. And then like literally a minute into the podcast, a report came out being like, looks like the Eagles are actually keeping Darius Slay. And I was like, okay, it's reports. But then Darius Slay's wife is huge into like Eagles fans. Like she talks to Eagles fans all the time. She was tweeting about how she was like super sad when everything happened. But then she tweeted in all caps, "We're here to stay." And then like green heart, Eagles emoji, Eagles emoji.
Yeah.
So it's pretty safe to say one of the wonkiest situations as an Eagles fan, even as an NFL fan, that I have ever seen.
Weird.
Yeah. And I kind of said it at like 6:00, a few hours before the podcast started. Hey, like this is a weird situation. Why didn't the Eagles cut him / release him? And now all of this is happening, and it seems like he's here to stay. My only stipulation is
you're getting there.
You go. Okay. Yeah, my only stipulation is I want Darius Slay back, but if it's at the cost of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, it's not a good move. And you say, what? This dude is an all-pro, Pro Bowler. Yeah, he's also 32 years old. So if we didn't do that and we're keeping Slay instead, it's kind of a bit of an issue. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is this budding star at safety, some dude who can be like the face of your defense for the next 4 to 6, 7 years. And if we didn't keep him because of Darius, I'm going to be a little mad. But that being said, we'll get into a signing later. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's main like competitor outside of the Eagles was the Bengals. And obviously the Bengals let go of Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is Jesse Bates.
This is all of Bears Twitter, by the way. Anyway.
Yes, it is. But Jesse Bates got like, he's down there the Falcons. We'll cover that. But then there's like, there's a hole with the Bengals. So everyone's like, Chauncey might go to the Bengals. Yeah. But like I said, we'll get into it. Too. It would make sense, but we'll get into it in just a second. The Bengals just made a signing like literally 2 minutes before the podcast started, which I don't know if they have the cap space now to sign Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which now means he will be back and that defense is still intact, baby. That's what I'm talking about. People need to cool it. And this is my last thing before I step off my soapbox.
Go on this tangent, please.
Yes. I everywhere on like NFL Twitter, I see the Eagles are falling off. Look at everything they lost. We're losing our right guard. So what? We drafted someone. Jason Kelce, the best center in all of football, is back. Maybe the best center of all time. I'm not going to say he is, but one of the best centers of all time is back. So the offense is going to be completely fine. Jalen Hurts has a top 3 pass catching unit, the best run game in the entire football. Look at the stats. The best offensive game, the best offensive line in all of football. And then you look at their defense and you say, wow, they're losing people. Wow. And your point, we have an all-pro cornerback that an all-pro cornerback that's on our roster still. We might have one of the best young safeties in the game. We still have Darius Slay. Our defense had one of the best, had the second best pass rush in the history of football, historically speaking. It's just wild. And we cut most of those pieces outside of Javon Hargraves. And we have replacements for every single piece we lost. outside of TJ Edwards, which we'll get into a little bit, hurts my soul there a little bit. But outside of TJ Edwards, we have a replacement for everyone we lost, and all of our pieces are still intact. We still have an amazing pass rush. We still have an amazing pass defense. Our offense is only going to improve from what it was last year. People just need to cool it. Honestly, what I'm more worried about this year is not the roster, it's our schedule. We do have the toughest schedule in the NFL. But
That's rough. It really is. That's why I thank you. I was hoping that you would fix that. So yeah, no, that's really my main concern is the slight downgrades at certain positions. I'm wondering how much it'll affect or maybe just moves to other players in those positions. You might even say, who knows? But the big signings that he's talking about from the Bengals, I mean, we might as well just talk about it now, considering that it happened just about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. Orlando Brown went to Cincinnati, which a lot of Bears fans are sitting here just rolling their eyes like, this is nothing. I mean, this is not that expensive for such a big signing as well. Let me go ahead and get this up really quick. Sorry. Here we go. So, wow, all this Darius Slay stuff. Unbelievable. Yeah, so it's a 4-year deal worth $64 million, which comes out to, roughly $16 million a year, which isn't that much. But the thing is like, okay, you got to think about it for a second. Orlando Brown wanted to play left tackle. The Bears didn't want to, but they wanted to pay him. Like, hey, look, we'll pay you, but you need to come in and play right tackle. He didn't want to do that. He wants to play left tackle. The Bengals just dropped their left tackle, Io Collins. So they're going to bring in another elite left tackle. And they're going to pay him a pretty hefty chunk as well. But $16 million is not at all close to what we thought was going to be the price tag for Orlando Brown. He's blocked for Lamar Jackson. He's blocked for Patrick Mahomes. Now he's going to block for Joe Burrow. So, I mean, pretty solid signing for him. Best of luck to him. It sucks. A lot of people said like he doesn't fit the scheme of what the Bears are going for. So, I mean, at the end of the day, can we just talk about, I mean, Bears fans just need to calm down so much, dude. At the end of the day, not everybody that's a huge, I don't know how to even put this. Not everybody that is a huge upgrade at a position fits with the team, despite the numbers and stats and everything that they're putting up. That might help you in Madden, but it might not help you in real life, especially because you're not a part of these negotiations and everything. Everybody just needs to settle down. I'm getting texts right now of people getting very disappointed. Why can't we spend that much money? We have 40 plus. Why can't we do that? Why are we signing backup quarterbacks and not tackles for our starting quarterback? I get that. So, I mean, no big deal. We'll move on. It's okay. There's still the draft to move on to. And then to everybody else too, every other fan base. I mean, free agency just started, guys. Like, literally, you've been able to negotiate with people for 48 hours. And now the new league year just started today. People can officially sign with teams today. There's still plenty of people that can come in and fill those holes on 1, maybe 2-year deals that are a lot cheaper than long-term commitments. I mean, the free agency class wasn't that impressive to start off with. Why are we freaking out?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that much. So, yeah, Orlando Brown, congratulations. That's huge. To Cincinnati, just another piece of the puzzle for them. They're just going to get better. It's clear. That's all I got to say about it. I mean, I wasn't really a crazy big advocate for it. I mean, was I disappointed? Yeah. The shock value at the beginning of it, absolutely. Ben, off camera, we knew my reaction wasn't a positive one. But what I will say, second off, Darius Slay back like I never left, run it back.
I feel like I'm going to get sick, though, by the way, just off topic. The rumors right now is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the Broncos are the leader in that clubhouse. I'm going to get sick if he doesn't stay.
Broncos are reloading this year. And
they're a big winner. We'll get into them, though.
They are, yeah. The next free agent signing that I think is a big one, which, by the way, Ben, it's in our note, by the way, that we like our little document, so you can follow along if you really want to. I don't know if you're doing that or not. This is all, we don't talk behind the scenes about this. Miles Sanders went to Carolina. So when we talk about the Carolina first round pick next year, and we talk about how Carolina's also added a couple tight ends as well in Hunter Henry and Dalton Schultz, that's pretty big. I mean, two solid quarter, and they added Andy Dalton as well. They're probably going to add a quarterback. They're adding pieces and, I mean, weapons and everything. It's not really crazy great weapons. They just traded away their top weapon for the number 1 pick. But, I mean, as a Bears fan, I'm like, dang it, man. Like, you're definitely going to somehow win 7 to 8 games this year and not give us a top 5 pick.
Yeah, the rumor is that they're also in on OBJ as well. I don't know where that goes. As we've seen today with the Darius Slay situation, rumors don't mean anything until anything's official. But, like, I mean, if they can kind of reload up, I mean, it kind of seems like they're kind of skipping over that rebuilding year and jumping straight to making a push. And especially in that division, they might be a playoff team. So yeah. I do think the Miles Sanders contract was an overpay. I'm also come from the camp that you either pay running backs $3 million or less or like $13 million or more. Because you only pay for the big star guys. You don't pay for the middle guys. $6 million, I would not have done it, but he's a good back. And then a trade to a little bit off topic that we forgot is the Falcons traded for Jonnu Smith. Yes. I think it was like a 6th-round pick. Nothing crazy, but
yeah, that's why I didn't really focus too much on it because it's like, yeah. I mean, they traded for a tight end when they can't even utilize the one that they drafted in the top 10 very well.
Exactly.
Like, awesome.
So, no, that the Miles Sanders signing was it was okay. I'm going to be honest though, more than anything, and then you are going to be excited about this. The signing that caught me more off guard. Well, the Hargrave signing caught me really off guard, but we'll get there. The signing that caught me off guard the most because there was nothing that was linked to it. Like there wasn't, this team was rumored in on this player leading up to it. It kind of just came out of nowhere, and it was a really good signing. And when you look at everything and what they ended up doing with the process, it was a really good process. Was the Bears with Edmonds? There was nothing. It was out of like nowhere. We were like,
loved it.
Yes, and we're like, that's what, like, oh, like the Bears have had a good day, and then bam, Edmonds was like $19 million a year, and at first you're like, but you wouldn't pay Roquan Smith $20 million, and that was kind of my thought process. But would you rather have Roquan Smith for $20 million or Edmonds?
Are we just getting into the Bears signings here?
Yeah, let's just do it. Edmonds, cool. But would you rather have a $20 million put into Roquan or 25 into a very, very, very good linebacking core that consists of Jack Sanborn, TJ Edwards, and Edmonds, and then on top of that, a 2nd-round pick. So the process that went into the signing and everything, and then again the fact that it kind of just happened out of nowhere. We didn't hear anything about it. They were never linked to them. They were never. The Bears are rumored. It just bam. And that caught me super off guard, but it was an awesome signing. 6'5" linebacker. He's one of the best in the game. Eberflus got his Shaq Leonard, or not Shaq Leonard, Shaquille Leonard. So yeah, it was good.
Okay, so to clear it all up, so the Bears signed a lot of people. I mean, they've done their homework. Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, DeMarcus Walker, Travis Homer, Nate Davis, PJ Walker, all are Chicago Bears now. And they still have about $44 million left in cap space. Scary. Anyways, so I'm a big fan of literally every move that's happened so far.
Yeah.
I mean, PJ Walker and the DJ Moore connection between him.
I didn't
I
think
mean,
about that.
that was pretty solid. Last season wasn't horrible. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year. Not terrible for a backup. Also not terrible for a Carolina quarterback for the amount of time that he stepped in as well. So I mean, I'm not really too upset about that. And then you look at the linebackers and everything, and my first thought was, why are we signing? Okay, so TJ Edwards was cool. Which, by the way, what's your thoughts on TJ Edwards? Because as somebody that used to have him, tell me a little bit about him, and for anybody else that doesn't know too much about him, before I dive in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if the rant I said to this didn't, explain enough, again, like of anyone on the Eagles defense, the one person I'm worried about more is TJ Edwards. And we have his replacement in the building. I mean, we have Nakobe Dean. We drafted him for a reason. But I'm still worried about he's just a doodle linebacker. He's a kid from Chicago. You guys got a nice hometown discount on him. I think you guys are only paying him like $6 million a year. And it is absolutely worth it. You don't really want him out in coverage too much. He can cover tight ends, but you don't want him on slots or anything. But he just has a very high football IQ. He's a high character dude. He sees and reacts really quick, and he hits the hole. I mean, it was an absolute steal of a signing. I think PFF had him as like the 7th ranked linebacker in football this past year. He's a do-it-all guy. He will get everything done. You don't really have to worry about him sticking in, and he'll do his job. He was our middle linebacker. I don't know if he'll play middle linebacker for you guys. I doubt he will. But it just tells you how smart he is. It just tells you the leadership he has. It was an awesome signing. Good on the Bears.
So I'm excited about him, but the player obviously that I'm most excited about is Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, huge defensive piece for the Bills. And I mean, he was just one heck of a dude, man. When I saw him on Madden, I would go after him, man. One heck of a guy. And I mean, not only that, because he's great in pass coverage, but he can also rush, and that's what we really need. But speaking of rushing and pass rushing and everything, DeMarcus Walker, right? I mean, he had 7 sacks in 2022. So I mean, not horrible at all. You're looking at a guy that can get to the quarterback. That's exactly what we need. And you could still draft a solid edge rusher too, and pair him up on the other side, and then still do Fluce's system where you're rotating guys in and out. I think he calls it NASCAR, despite the fact that you think that's stupid. But I think that
it's so dumb. It's we don't have to get into it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm very excited to see what these new guys on defense can do. And then another guy as well that I'm excited about is we signed a right guard, left guard. I think it's a left guard, and Nate Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a guard. I'm very excited about that. I mean, because he was off the board pretty quick too. What I will say, all right, so looking at his PFF grades, right? I mean, overall 70.6. You got a 66.8 in pass blocking and 69.8 in run blocking. So, okay, serviceable. And from the Titans fans' point of view, they're very nervous about not having him next year. So that's exciting just because it's like, oh, cool, we stole somebody. So, it's something to look forward to as well. Let's see, who else am I missing? Travis Homer. So it's a 3rd string running back. You're not going to see very much of him on offense at all.
No.
But he's a special teamer. He's going to do exactly what you need him to, at an efficient rate as well. Not really too worried about that one. So we're going to talk about, right, so when it comes down to not getting somebody and, how Poles reacts, Poles didn't get a defensive tackle, and so immediately his plan B was to sign DeMarcus Walker, which 7 sacks last year was not terrible. So my next option that I'm looking at, I might mispronounce his name. He's a tackle for the Raiders, Jermaine Illuminor. Yeah, I might pronounce that right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
he had a pretty solid season with the Raiders. I mean, only allowed 3 sacks on the season, 10 penalties, and his market value, according to Spot Track, is about $5.6 million a year. If you can get him on a 1 to 2 year contract as a right tackle, your offensive line looks pretty decent. Braxton Jones, that didn't perform crazy terrible last year. You have Cody Whitehair at left guard. Your center needs some work, so you could maybe bump Cody Whitehair over there and get your left guard over there, which could be Nate Davis, in all honesty.
Yes.
And then, like I said, Cody Whitehair at center, Tevin Jenkins at right guard, and then Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle, which not a terrible offensive line there if that's the unit that you're going out there with. You've already got depth and everything. It might not be crazy good depth, but that's the point of depth, is that you have bodies. So they're stepping in the right direction. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The Bears are not going to be the ones that are going to compete for a Super Bowl this next year. But what I will say is their ceiling and their absolute goal should be to match what the Jaguars did this past season. And that's what I'm hoping from them. It's a fairly easy schedule from the way that it looks right now. The best way to look at it right now is just to stay hopeful, hopeful that Justin Fields gets more work in with the new guys. Chase Claypool learns the playbook. We have a deadly offense in 2023, and our defense comes in hitting. The Monsters on the Midway can be back next year. Very excited.
Stop. I think it's okay to be excited with what you guys have done, and I still think there are moves to be made. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like you put up Bear.
That's why I said they could.
Bear.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's still there. Like, I mean, there's pieces. You guys have money. You guys can still go out and make some good moves, but they are not going to be the Monsters of the Midway just yet. Maybe the year next,
I'm talking specifically that linebacker core is what's telling me that they could.
That linebacker core is going to be nasty, but there's still a lot of work to be done up there on the D line.
Right. No, absolutely. So our next work, what I want to just a couple skill players really. Jamal Williams went to New Orleans, so that's pretty cool. I like Jamal Williams. That's okay. The next question is, what's going on with Kamara in New Orleans? So it's everybody's mind. Juju went to New England, which tells me OBJ could be looking at Kansas City. Personally, there's nothing surrounding that, so I cannot stress that enough. Don't think that we know something, because we don't. But it's an attractive spot for sure. McCole Hardman might go back.
What caught me off guard about the Juju to the Patriots, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head money per annual year, but it was the exact same contract that Jacoby Myers got for the Raiders. And you kind of scratch your head a little bit and say, if you're willing to give out that contract to a wide receiver, why would you not give it out to the dude that's already in the building, that already knows your playbook, and someone that I would argue is better than Juju? Juju was very mid this year. Jacoby Myers, when you needed him, he played well. So it kind of did leave me scratching my head a little bit, saying, if you're willing to pay this much money for a wide receiver, why wouldn't you pay for the better wide receiver that already is in the building and already knows the playbook?
Yeah.
A little weird in my opinion, but I mean, again, there you go. There's the Raider signing too. So
yeah, no, I don't even know how to say anything about it, because it's like I'd like to hype this up, but I really can't, because it's Juju and New England is just in such a weird spot. So like you said, Bradbury staying in Philly. Happy for you, because you got your guy back, but we pretty much covered that one, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. Alan Lazard went to New York. What I would really like to see is Aaron get all of his guys, all of his weapons and everything back in Green Bay, and back from Green Bay, and just tell New York, I took another darkness retreat and I kind of changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and retire. Like, it's not going to happen. Don't get me wrong. He's already made his commitment, but like, that would be funny. That'd be worth the watch. I would laugh. I mean, really hard too. They already have, what's his name? Nathaniel Hackett as well.
Yes.
As offensive coordinator. They're going to bring in guys. Like, this is ridiculous, man. The way that the league reacts at, Aaron Rodgers could go here. Oh, he's got so many people just in the palm of his hand. It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. If you're the Jets, why are you letting this man dictate what you're doing? Say,
He's not even a member
screw
of your
you,
team.
Aaron Rodgers. Screw you. We're putting in a claim for Lamar Jackson. We'll pay the 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson. We'll take the younger player. We'll take the better player. Why are you letting this man who's not on your team control what you're doing in this offseason? Stop it. Take the 2 first-round picks. Get Lamar, who's vastly better at this point in his career, younger. And honestly, we talked about earlier in the episode, does Lamar or does Aaron Rodgers move that needle up to the Super Bowl? No. Lamar sure as heck does. So I don't understand what the Jets are doing, man. I really don't.
I mean, I do. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's stupid.
That's a better way to put it.
Anyways, Samson Ebukam from San Francisco went to Indy. So what I'm thinking is Yannick Ngakoue is probably on his way out of Indy, which is another veteran edge rusher that could find his way in Chicago back in Eberflus's system on a 1-year deal. He's basically going to be a 1-year candidate for a lot of teams. That's what I would project. As far as other fits go, I can't really say for sure somewhere. But if you need an edge rusher, that's somebody that you're definitely looking at. The saddest news that I got last night was David Montgomery went to Detroit. That hurt a lot, I will say, because I was rooting for Monty, and I still feel like I can. But it sucks because he's going to a division rival, and the Lions seem to be, they're not just your casual jokester Lions anymore, man. These are the freaking Detroit Lions that, hey, if you overlook us, we're going to come and punch you in the friggin' mouth, man. Like, this is not going to be a comfortable Detroit anymore, man. You don't walk into this game and think you're for sure getting a win. Detroit is not to be messed with.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. That is some team that will wake up right when you least expect it, punch you in the mouth, and walk away with a win. They are tough, and Monty is exactly that kind of player as well. He will fit into that scheme. He will fit into that offense. I don't like it from a fantasy point of view. I will say that between him and DeAndre Swift.
But I think that begs the bigger question is what's really going on with DeAndre Swift. They showed this past year that they weren't really willing to give him the keys to be a bell cow back because everything that happened with Jamal. And then you go out, and I'm not saying that Monty is like the best running back in the league, but he's a good running back. Like, he's a starting running back. So what does that say about their opinions on what DeAndre Swift is? If they felt that they needed to go out and sign a starting running back in free agency. And that was kind of where my head was at pretty much automatically was they don't view him as that bell cow back that they drafted him to be. And now this is strike number 2 for them in terms of drafting that dude because they drafted who was it? They drafted a kid out of Auburn. I'm blanking on his name. 1 year before they drafted Swift, and then they drafted Swift, and now seems like he's not the guy either. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But like you said, this Lions team will be fun to watch. It's pretty much everyone is a Lions fan, and they'll be a fun team to watch, over the course of the next 5 years. So,
next up, another fun signing. The rich get richer, man. Hargrave went to San Francisco. Great signing. Great signing. I think that he's going to do well.
I think he's going to do awesome, but I also think a lot of defensive tackles for a lot cheaper would do just as well. You're playing with Armstead on your left. You're paying Armstead on the left and Bosa on the right, or vice versa. and you decided to go out and pay $22 million for a defensive tackle that's 30 years old that can't play on run-stopping downs. He is strictly, as an Eagles fan, I liked him back. I think he had 11 sacks. So he's a great pass rusher, but on running downs, he cannot be in the game. That's how bad he was. He's strictly a pass rushing defensive tackle, and you paid a pass rushing defensive tackle that can't be on the field during rundowns. That's 30 years old, $22 million. I like Javon, but I think there were better moves you could have made for cheaper. It's not like that was a need for them. Their defensive line, I mean, like you said, the rich get richer. I mean, he's very, very good, but I don't think you had to have paid him $22 million. You could have went out and paid Draymond Jones, $15 million instead, who's younger. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I get your point for sure. Understanding it from that point of view kind of makes me happy, Chicago, because they were in on a lot of defensive tackles. Yeah. Kind of happy that they didn't. But Jesse Bates went to the Falcons. So for the team that has the second most in cap space, they haven't really made the flashiest moves per se.
No.
So I mean, but that's a team that Jesse Bates will probably enjoy playing for. I mean, the defense needed some help, and he's providing that for sure.
Yes.
So I can't really go any more on that one. I can move on if you like. What do you think?
I mean, 16 million, I think is what he got. 16 million annually across 4 years, I think is what he got. But I mean, he was one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in football, behind like Derwin James and stuff like that. But he's right up there. The Falcons are getting better, man. Again, I think we are starting to see those 4 teams in that division outside of the Buccaneers, but they even signed Jamel Dean. But like we're seeing all of them try to make pushes, even though all of their teams are mediocre, because they all realize, wow, all of these teams are mediocre. So they're really trying to all make pushes to see if one of them can build up a half decent team to win that division, because that division is wide open. So,
yeah. So next up, I definitely mistyped that. So the Raiders got a new quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky for Davante Adams. This is a guy that can go out and win you a game in the playoffs. Better yet, he can go ahead and carry your team to the Super Bowl. It's been proven. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's somebody who can definitely chuck the ball a pretty long way. He's had a lot of wins under his belt as a starter and everything. Pretty historical career, we'll say. And his name is not Aaron Rodgers. It's, in fact, Jimmy Garoppolo. So if I'm Davante Adams, I'm like questioning everything, because you get rid of my buddy, and now you pair me with Jimmy G, and then you get rid of Darren Waller, which is going to create less separation for me. It's going to make my job a little bit harder. You franchise tag Josh Jacobs, and he's not happy. So that leaves Hunter Renfrow. That's cool. So I mean, Jimmy G, if you're the Raiders, you're hoping that somehow, some way, Anthony Richardson falls to you, and I don't think that's going to happen. But when you look at it, Jimmy G, he's serviceable, but he's a bridge quarterback. Unfortunately, that's just what he's been his whole career, pretty much. So I mean, like I said, he's serviceable. Could be worse. Could be a lot better, though.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Next up, Mike McGlinchey went to the Broncos. So that's a pretty solid signing for a group that needed some offensive line help as well. 49er fans aren't really a big fan of him, but, yeah, he's all right. Speaking of former Bronco, Draymond Jones went to the Seahawks. Ben, this is one I want to ponder on a little bit. Just dwell on it. So the Seahawks, right? They own a pretty high pick in the draft. What's it? Top 4? No, top 5.
They're 5. Yep.
So if you're looking at it, they're probably looking at an edge rusher. I'm assuming Will Anderson probably plug and play here after an Arizona trade back.
If he's there,
So
Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson.
yeah, so they're looking at edge rusher for sure. Unless, honestly, Ngakwe might not be a bad fit here, actually, in theory. A 1-year deal just for a security pick would not be bad for this team. You look at it from the Seahawks point of view. This is a solid defensive tackle, very serviceable. You got him for the next 4 years. This is as a result of Jalen Carter not doing well at his pro day, despite the fact that he did it. This pro day was a little bit later, but his off-field issues and everything is starting to kind of, make him tumble down people's draft boards. The Bears at some point were like, man, maybe he'll fall to 9. And then they saw him at his pro day and was like, this guy doesn't look like a first round pick right now. Like, this is his footage. I sent you a text this morning.
I know. I think people are overblowing the whole situation. His legal stuff is a concern. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, someone died and it might have been in result because of him. So I don't say that lightly. His legal stuff could be a concern. But like I've said, we don't know the half of it. We don't know everything that's happening. And at the end of the day, like, you got to think how much of that is impacting everything that's going on now. There's a report that he gained 9 pounds over the course of 13 days.
Which 9 pounds isn't crazy.
Especially for a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But like 9 pounds over the course of 13 days. And then he wasn't able to like finish like the pro day, and he didn't really look too good. But
something that I'm looking at, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
On a human standpoint, is I wonder how his mental is doing.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
This is a big spiral down, and for a big prospect that was supposed to go number 1 overall. This is somebody that was supposed to be living his dream in just another month. That was it. And then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? Scouting Combine week came, and we have a warrant out for your arrest. So, like, this is bad. And so you look at it from his point of view, it's like, why does this have to come out now? Like, so much of it, and it's like, yes, was it a stupid decision? Absolutely. And unfortunately, it is as extreme as it is. A team is going to pick him up. Don't get me wrong. He will be selected. But when and if he's going to be able to play is really the question. And what's the gamble that people are willing to take?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's hard to, and again, it's a conversation we've really tried to avoid, because you don't know, and you can't have the conversation in full until all of his legal stuff comes out. That being said, with the risk of stuff coming out about his legal stuff, he was a very, 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 very good football player. At points in the offseason, people were talking about the Bears selecting him with the number 1 overall pick. He is very, very good. He's a blue chipper for a reason. If his legal stuff comes out fairly clean, because something will come out. I mean, he will be in trouble for at least like running from the cops or evading the cops or something.
Yeah.
But if his legal stuff is fairly clean, it is hard for me to say teams should pass on him. I understand there's some character issues with him, but we've seen there are reports coming out saying that he paid for meals for students that were walk-ons because they didn't have enough money and they didn't have stuff. He's a great leader. He has I know there's the legal stuff, but he's also just a monster on the field. I think people are blowing this out of proportion, and like you said, the legal stuff has to mess with him, and that has to be a mind thing. But I think we get hung up on the football player aspect of it. This was a brother he went and practiced with every day for 3 years at least right now. And whether or not he caused it or not, he lost his brother. He lost someone that he was very, 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 very close to. So even take out the legal stuff stressing him out, that has to have a huge impact on him mentally and emotionally. And I think people are kind of holding his emotions and the grieving process of all of that against him. And I just think it's wrong that people are doing that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
not to have turned that into a big thing. And I wasn't expecting to talk about this on the podcast, but that's just what it is. And I think as media members, we need to do better covering these young men and these adults as more than just football players and as people too.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. So our last free agent signing that we're going to be covering is Marcus Davenport to the Vikings. So he had a half of a sack in this past season. I just wanted to cover this because I'm still bitter about an argument that I had on Twitter.
On Twitter.
There is a guy that I actually worked with for my broadcast company, and he writes for the Viking Territory website, vikingsterritory.com. If you are a Bears fan or just NFC North team fan, you've probably seen this guy before. I'm not going to name drop him because I don't feel the need to. So this has just been a lot, and we've covered a lot, and I've had a pretty bold take on this, but I think it's understandable, at least for right now. And so, yes, Bears Twitter has been all over this guy for like the last week. So basically, he said for the DeMarcus Walker pickup, right, for the Bears, he put a bunch of stats for the PFF grades and everything. He said, yikes, definitely glad Minnesota was able to land Davenport, who's 2 years younger, for only $5 million more without the 3-year commitment. And so somebody said, it's a cheap signing. My God, you hate on everything just for the sake of hating. And so he said, this is a direct shot at Bears Twitter. Once Davenport signed with Minnesota, my comments blew up with hate for no reason, so I fired back. As I said before, he's all over Bears Twitter, just hating on Ryan Poles and whatever his moves are. And so I said, Davenport has yet to play a full season in his career. When you come at Bears Twitter to bash our GM, that's been killing it so far, you're bound to get some back. Ben, just curious. You agree that Ryan Poles is doing a pretty good job so far, right?
Yeah, I think it's a segment that we probably won't have time to do. But we're going to talk about winners. We're going to talk about winners. If you don't come away from this the last 3 days saying the Bears are the biggest winner of all of free agency, I don't know if you're watching the same sport that I watch, because the Bears are absolutely killing it.
Yeah. He said, in response to mine, he said, the Roquan and Claypool trades were bad. Luckily, throwing money at free agents and trading with a desperate Carolina team has helped his case. I like polls, but I always make sure to respond to every comment I can, even when they're negative. I give credit where credit's due, but I'll come back just as hard if needed. And so I responded back with it. I forget what I said, though. I apologize. Let me find this. So why didn't I do this? Why didn't I find it? Yes, I said, in the end, we got a second, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds for just as much annually as Roquan by himself. He didn't fit the scheme. With Claypool, let's let him learn the playbook and establish chemistry with Fields before we make any judgment on that one. He also asked me, and this is my bold take, I guess, for right now. I said, because he said, so you'd rather have Claypool over the 32nd overall pick? They would be looking good heading into the draft with 9, 32, 54, 64, and 65. I said this. You might disagree, but I think you understand because, this is how we work. I said, I'd rather have Claypool at wide receiver 3 than have to scout the current free agency class with intent to sign. The wide receiver class in 2023 and the draft runs thin after the first round. At 32, you're praying someone falls. Odds are somebody like Zay Flowers will be there. Jalen Hyatt will be there. But I said, yes, I would give up 32 to know that my wide receiver core is good with Claypool being there, because Claypool's proven to have 700 yards and stuff like that. Despite the slow start in this offense, you're giving him one full offseason to give him a break. Like we said before, let him kind of process this one. And if it sucks, we don't sign him again and we treat it as a loss. I will be the first person on Twitter and say, this guy sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Chase Claypool as a person. I think that he is great for charity and the things that he's doing off the field and everything. Love it. Absolutely. I'm a huge soft heart for that kind of stuff, man. And not only that, but he can produce on the field. As soon as he was traded, I mean, I was at the game at his debut. He was treated as a threat. Everybody knew it too. He was treated as a threat, and now we have DJ Moore, and Claypool's our wide receiver 3 with Darnell Mooney in the middle. Like, yeah, I would rather have that than an unproven rookie right now. Whereas right now, what we can do is use 54 or 64 and still draft a wide receiver or help our offensive line. Like, there are still moves to be made, man, and I don't see an issue with it right now. So yeah, I will back on this and totally, I will die on this hill right now. I might regret it later, but ultimately, this whole Davenport thing, I think it's a crappy signing. I mean, it's a cheap signing for a reason. The fact that Vikings fans are hyping it up, saying that this is a great Zadarius Smith, what they call it, a replacement almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It's not. It's Marcus Davenport. He hasn't played a full season. We're friends with the Saints fan. He could tell you firsthand, hey, he's good when he's healthy, but he's not healthy all the time. Like, he's not going to win you a game. He's not a difference maker right now. He used to be, but he's never played a full season. And then you look at the Bears, who signed DeMarcus Walker with 7 sacks this last season, dude. You're going to go back to 2021 with Marcus Davenport and be like, yeah, that was okay. That was pretty good. Like, no. No.
I will say I'd rather have the deal that you guys have him on than Marcus Davenport, $13 million annually. I think I'd rather have the for sure thing of Claypool than have to draft a wide receiver this year. But that being said, I think I'd rather have 32 than Claypool. So it's a weird, sticky situation. But I do think this dude's just hating to hate. I do think at the end of the day, the Bears are setting themselves up for a bright future, whether that's this year or the years to come. Poles has done everything you could have asked him to and more. So,
yeah. Moving on to one of our last segments. I want to say this: we will not be getting to College Corner because of time restraints, but we will be doing a mock draft after this. So let's see here. This is going to be our next segment, winners of free agency. So we're going to break down by teams who we think is doing a pretty solid job in free agency, who is not doing a good job at all in free agency. They're just this period, really, who's winning right now. So obviously we already talked about the Bears. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but what I will say, the Dolphins are winners right now.
Yep. I have 4 winners. One of them was the Bears that we've already talked about. But then, another one of them right there is the Bears. I mean, again, whenever you can get a cornerback the caliber that Ramsey is for a 3rd-round pick, I would consider that a win.
Yeah. My other winner would be, I think Philly's winning right now. As much crap as I give you. I like to make you mad. You like to make me mad sometimes too. It's just a thing that we do. So yeah, no, oh wow. Yeah. Orlando. Okay. Sorry. Orlando Brown just had a tweet. I am a 4-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion left tackle. Put it on an effing t-shirt. Yeah, that just solidifies the fact that he didn't want to play a right tackle position. So as an offensive lineman, because I wouldn't understand this, what's the big deal about just switching sides?
Well, one is switching from left to right, like your movements are different. When your kick step is left, and then into it, your inside hand and your outside hand. Obviously, if I'm playing left tackle, my inside hand is going to be my right, and my outside hand is going to be my left. And you want your inside hand to probably be the stronger one so you can get a punch. But then if you play right tackle, it's going to be switched. So your technique is you might be like, oh, just flip it. It's a lot harder than what it is. But also, left tackle is probably the second most important. I'm going to say the second most important position on a football field outside of quarterback. And that's because 95% of the time, the left tackle is going to be the person blocking the blind side of your quarterback.
Gotcha.
So you want, and that's why. I mean, obviously you have Tua. I think Tua is the only right-handed or left-handed quarterback. So his right tackle is going to be more important. But for most, if not every team outside of the Dolphins, you want to have a really good left tackle because that's the blind side of your quarterback. And because it's the blind side of your quarterback, left tackles are going to be making more money because they're far more important than what a right tackle is because, the quarterback can see what's happening there. Quarterback can't see the eyes on the back of his head. So you want to be able to lock down that left tackle position and they make more money. And that was the big thing. Orlando Brown is if he plays left tackle, he's probably making $5-ish million per year more at left tackle versus right tackle.
Okay. So, makes sense. I want to say after signing this left tackle, the Bengals are definitely winners here, and they will probably continue to be winners if they do get CJ, which is the rumor right now.
I don't know. I really think Slay is back because a deal fell through. I think Howie wanted CJ. There's no reports. This is just a gut feeling. I think Howie wanted CJ, and that's why the rumors came out that he was going to get cut. And I think he probably offered CJ a good market value deal. And CJ was like, no. And then that's when I think Howie probably switched back to Slay. So, womp womp. I hope he's a Bronco. I really hope CJ's a Bronco if he's not an Eagle.
Next up, so my last winner, the Broncos. I think they got to improve, but they're also shopping their top two wide receivers around. I think they like somebody in this draft. I think that's the secret. I think they really do, and that's probably why they're shopping around Jerry Jeudy just to get some more pieces around Russell Wilson. I don't think that they're going to be a Super Bowl contender this year, as much as people want to hype up Sean Payton and everything. But what they're doing is definitely building towards that. And if they can get any kind of growth from Russell Wilson upon what he had last year, that's positive compared to the direction that they were going last year without Sean Payton. So that'll do it for my winners, but I do have some losers. Did you finish your list?
Yeah, I have two more winners. One being a team that we've kind of already talked about a little bit, the Panthers. I just feel like they have made moves to put themselves in a advantageous situation.
Yeah.
But then also something that I don't think enough people are talking about, another very big winner from this 3 to 4 day period is the 2024 defensive tackle group / free agents. We saw Daron Payne make $22 million. We saw Hargrave make $22 million. Next year's group consists of guys like DJ Reader, Quinn Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, Ed Oliver. So there are like some very, very, very big name guys here that are coming up to be free agents in next year's class.
Oh, Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. That's what I'm saying. So like Javon Kinlaw, Jeffrey Simmons, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, DJ Reader, Chris Jones. So there are some very, very, very big. Derek Brown. There are, again, Ed Oliver. There are 5, 6, 7 very, 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 very good defensive tackles in next year's free agency class. And because Daron Payne made I think it was 24, maybe it was $23 million annually, these guys are going to get paid. If Daron Payne's making $24 million, Dexter Lawrence and Jeffrey Simmons and Quinn and Williams are going to be making $25-26 million. So these guys might be the biggest winners of anyone in all of free agency over the last 3 games.
Here's what I have to say about that, and I'm going to take it and keep it as locked as personally possible, physically possible. I'm hoping to God that Travis has a good year on a personal level.
Yes.
Because he is a free agent in 2024, and I want him to go out with a bang if he's going to be leaving after that. And there's a solid chance that he will be leaving after that. It sucks. It really, 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 really does.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get a little bit more movement as far as saying hi to him again. This dude is, and I'm sorry for everybody that's like, dude, why does he keep obsessing over this guy? Look, this guy is just such a cool guy, in and out, on and off the field. He does a lot of charity work. He does he rescues dogs on the side, like pit bulls. I mean, he's a big dog lover, man. And not only that, but dude, he's just a big, like, he's not a teddy bear. He's a grizzly bear on the field, but he's a teddy bear off of it, man. This guy is a complete angel. He's been nothing but nice to me, man. And I wish nothing but the best for him. And if it means that we're getting rid of him next year, I mean, unfortunately, it is a business. It comes with it. I'm still going to be a Travis Gibson fan in and out. But I'm hoping that come next offseason, they can extend him to a short-term deal, because this guy, he's a solid depth piece. He really is. If you can keep him on the team, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I agree. And I listed off those names for the 24 class. Bears fans,
Joey Bosa is.
Don't be but like, hey, you guys have $44 million. Like we said, there are moves to be made. But the wonderful thing about the NFL is if you don't spend money this year, it rolls over into next year. So you don't have to fix the defensive tackle position and get it set this year. If you roll over $10 million next year, $15 million into next season, then you're going to have money to be able to pay a Dexter Williams, a Dexter Lawrence, a Jeffrey Simmons, Quinn and Williams. You're going to have the money to do that. So, again, Bears fans, this is a rebuild. It's going to be more than 1 year, but Poles has shown he knows what he's doing. So in Poles we trust.
Absolutely. I wanted that on a t-shirt so quick. I'm also thinking about getting a t-shirt if they start making it, like 1-2 punch for Fields and Moore. I would love that for like have you seen the Obvious shirts?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that brand. I actually sent them a tweet, but I don't think that they responded because I don't know, it's Obvious shirts. So, but hopefully that's the thing.
The Santos memes are absolutely hilarious about ripping the jersey off and giving it to DJ Moore. That stuff is just having me cracking up.
I love Santos, but my dream situation is cutting Santos, saving a couple $1 million, and then getting Robbie Gould back. I don't think it's happening.
No.
But yeah, because he's still on the depth chart. They were like, hey, can you give your jersey to him? And he's like, yeah. And then it's like, you bring in Robbie. It's like, hey, can you give your job to him? Like, that's a lot to ask of a guy. I can't go there. Anyways, do you have one more winner? I think you had one more winner, right?
No, I had the 3 teams, and then I said the D tackles. So
gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, then it's time to get out of that. Lots of fun. We're gonna keep going, guys. So stay tuned for next week. But until then,
it's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
All right. So let's get right into it. You've just ate me alive this past few weeks, man. It's been ridiculous, sniping people. Also, keep in mind, I only have one hand, so typing is going to be a little difficult.
Do you want me to do that? If we,
it's fine. It's okay.
I was going to say he'd reset for me in 4 minutes because of the time difference.
No, it's okay. All right, you ready?
Yes, AJ.
Go ahead. AJ Brown?
Yeah, AJ Brown. Yeah.
All right. So it's a wide receiver in the NFC. He's a little bit taller than 6'1". He's way older than 25, and his jersey number is less than 11.
I know it is.
Who are you thinking?
I think it's D-Hop.
I was thinking Hopkins as well, but
What?
I thought that he
Yeah.
was 6'1". Yeah,
I thought he was a little bit taller, but I had the number correct and the age correct. So NFC West in 10.
So you're looking at Cooper Kupp.
Oh, no, he's too small. I think. Cooper Kupp is taller than 6'1".
6'2".
Wow, he's 6'2".
I
I
knew he
always
was up
get
in
shocked by
age.
that. I always see that, and I always get surprised that he's 6'2". I always forget that he's that tall.
Who we got? Who we got?
Yeah, so this is hard mode. This is where it actually matters for the people who have watched. I mean, we're like 20
If this
episodes
resets in
into
3 minutes. Yeah, we gotta hurry.
Oh, so it
Speed
resets for
run.
you as well. Yeah, AJ Brown.
Okay. That gave us
Awesome.
nothing. All right.
AFC Youngin, yes.
I'm gonna go with Matt Corral. That gave us. Oh, he's in the NFC. Duh. Anyways, all right.
NFC. This is so hard because this is something like I like to sit here and critically think about, but I have to like speed run this. I have to assume with the height that it's offensive line. Maybe it's tight end.
If it restarts, it restarts. Whatever.
This isn't correct because of the age. But Foster Moreau. There it is.
So
that's
it
what
is
I
a
wanted
tight
to
end in
see.
the AFC.
That is what I wanted to see.
Not in the AFC West.
Young tight end.
But he's young.
Okay.
I'm going Chiggy. It's an AFC South tight end though. Okay. And he's younger.
Is it Woods? Jelani Woods?
See, that's who I was originally thinking as well, but it's not. Wow.
I should have known
he
he
is
was a
tall.
lot taller. Yeah, I should have
That's
known because
crazy.
he was tall.
Let's see. So it's not. I stand a chance here. I really do.
Before it resets, you got a minute. So we know it has to be either the Jaguars or who's the other team in this division? Houston. Oh, I know who it is.
It's Houston's. What's his name? Dude, what's his name? God dang it, dude. What's his freaking name?
Nope.
Dude, what is his name? Because he's 22. He like just got drafted too. What is his name?
I don't know his name.
You've got to be kidding me.
I don't know his name. It's 12 o'clock. Hopefully it resets.
Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. We can play the next one too. It's fine.
Yeah, we can play the next one. We can do it online.
What's his freaking name, dude? I know it. I feel like.
So it is now 12 o'clock my time. We can scratch this one and have this one.
Yeah, what's the guy's
count
name?
as
What's the
the
guy's
point.
name?
I do not know, and it's really pissing me off. It's really making me mad. I know. Type in Howard.
Can I Google it?
No, type in Howard. Do Traven. I'm just interested. Scroll down. Oh, not even close. Yeah, go ahead and Google it.
I know
it's not Bug Howard. Bug Howard is USC.
because I know the Texans have a rookie tight end, don't they?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure.
What? Who are these guys?
It's not Belvin Jordan either. Maybe tried the Mason kid, but I don't know. It's not Belvin.
Mason Shrek. Yeah, it's Houston, so it's
Can't be Belvin Jordan.
is it Tegan? Yeah, who knows him? Okay, whatever.
Tegan Quintero. All right, we can do it on mine.
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen, bro.
Let's see if I know how to do this, y'all. Let me actually open up this window.
Side note, so for those of you that listened last week, my hand surgery went well. That was on Monday. Your boy is currently training his hand on how to grab a controller again, so that's fun. All right. Easy mode.
All right, let's test. What was let's just do Cooper to make sure this reset.
Yeah. Cup.
Okay, it did reset.
Okay, cool. All right. NFC West.
That helped, didn't it? I think I might know who it is.
Let's see. It's yeah, I don't know. Go for it. James Conner. What the heck, dude? Seriously? Okay. I might know who it is. Bam. All right. Whatever. No big deal. All right. Hard mode, I guess. Jesus Christ. Do DJ Moore for the first guess.
Woo. DJ Moore.
Yeah, they updated it. Beautiful.
Oh, yes, they did. All right, offense in the AFC, kind of young. The height doesn't really help with nothing, does it? I don't know why it's just so hard. I'm trying to think of like an offensive lineman in the AFC, and it should be like very, very easy for me to do that. Oh, I got the height then right.
Go Jelani Woods again.
Okay.
No,
Johnny
wait, no,
Woods is
that's
6
not right.
foot, and yeah, Johnny is 6'7", and
yeah. That's what I was thinking too. 6'7". You might be looking at a tackle. Orlando Brown, whatever. Yeah, Orlando Brown.
Imagine
I don't think it's him. It's not him. They didn't update it that quick. There's no way.
I was gonna say. Oh, what the schmeck?
Okay. So
that leaves us with the North.
it's a tight end. Okay.
So he's 28. He's 27 or 28.
Ingram. Go Ingram.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking with
Evan Ingram.
I don't think his number matches up. Yeah, I don't think his number matches.
Dang it. Jacksonville's tight end. I'm out.
27 years old.
I'm out. I'm Googling. I'm out.
You know who it is too. It's gonna drive me off the walls.
I know you know that. I'm just.
I don't know. Look it up and tell me, if, like, realistically, if I should know who it is.
I don't think so, but who knows? Because you know who Taylor McPhee is from Southern Mississippi State Tech A&M from the draft class of 2018.
Yeah, 27. He's a tight end, which means he probably spent all 4 years in college. Meaning he probably came out at the age of 22 or 23, which means he came out in the 2019 or 2020 draft. I don't know.
It's Dan.
All right,
Arnold.
I guess it was a wash. I do know who Dan Arnold is.
What college did Dan Arnold go to?
I don't know, but he got drafted by the Seahawks originally.
University of Wisconsin Platteville. I would have slapped you. I would have drove all the way back down there and slapped you. Anyways, all right. Gridiron Goofs.
Yes.
What's the name of the segment? Oh, you're not talking about Ryan and Ben? Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I've got it. It's time for Gridiron Goofs.
All right. So, breakfast foods. You want to lay out the rules, buddy? This was your idea.
Yeah, this was indeed my idea. And he didn't get drafted by the Seahawks. He got drafted by the Saints. Wow. Nice. Anyways, yeah, so it's a one food. If the food is like a combination of things, that's okay. Like you can't have eggs and bacon. You can have eggs or bacon. You could have a breakfast skillet. That counts because that's just like a thing. But like you can't have like eggs, bacon, and pancakes.
Is an omelet and eggs two separate picks, or are they under the same category?
Omelet and eggs, I think, are two separate picks.
Okay. All right. You can go first.
That being said, I think we do just have to take the skillet first overall. I mean, I know it's a hot pick, but I just think there's so much that you can do with a skillet. So many different things you can do with a skillet. For those who live in the northwestern Indiana region, if you don't go to Viking Chili Bowl and get a Hungry Man skillet, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Very good. I'm going to go with the omelet then.
Solid pick, yeah. I think that's a good solid. It's a
pick. Security pick. It's one of those, hey, if I don't pick it, he's going to. So.
Yes, yeah. And I think we want to continue with like a hearty item. I don't think we want to do like a side dish of bacon just yet. So that being said, while I do like waffles more, I think I have to go with pancakes here. I think the general consensus is pancakes are better than waffles.
I'll go waffles because I like waffles more.
Yes, I do think waffles are better. See, now this is where it gets into. Yeah, right. I'm glad.
Little syrup
this is where it starts. This is where it starts getting into I think the side dish esque.
See, I don't think so. I don't think you're.
No, yeah. See, I don't think so either. Biscuits and gravy. Yeah, I want biscuits and gravy. I think that's a nice third round pick.
Ben, there was a meal that we had prior to the Bears preseason game against the Chiefs, and that, my friend, breakfast burritos.
Breakfast, yes. Oh, good pick, my friend. And
I was going biscuits and gravy, but you stole it, so it's okay.
I'm gonna continue the trend with things that we ate before football events. We went to this very delicious place here before one of the days at Combine here in Bloomington called Square Donuts. You can never go wrong with the donut. They're nice and easy. You can go out and get them. They're not super expensive. Give me the donut.
Yeah, no, it's pretty solid. There's a third category of almost pastry that people aren't talking about when it comes to the pancakes versus waffles debate, and that's a crepe.
Swedish pancake? Oh, crepe? Same thing. Swedish pancake, crepe. I almost went there. I didn't, but that's a good pick. That's probably where I would have went.
It's sleeper.
Yeah. No, that's probably
What filling? Do you get filling with them?
Yeah, well, it depends. Usually, I just go with like a strawberry and whipped cream. I think that's just like the nice, easy way to go. Yeah. Like I know people do like Nutella and peanut butter. Cherry's
that's a
good
lot.
too.
I will say I'm not. If it's filling and breakfast time, you got to go fruit, in my opinion. If you're waking up first thing in the morning and you're saying chocolate, grow up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I agree. See, and this is where it gets tough because there's so many options. Cereal still on the board. Pop-Tarts are still on the board.
Biscuits and gravy was the steal of the draft, I will say.
Thank you.
Respect
My favorite breakfast food is the country fried steak. Absolutely delicious, but I don't think I'm going to go there. This isn't quite a food, but as a college student, I'd be remiss to not take coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
I almost want to nix that. I was gonna say, I was gonna say coffee. I'm not gonna take coffee because I don't think that it's a food. If we're going drinks, maybe.
Yeah, but I feel like it's such a vital part. Like if you wanted to take orange juice, I would let you.
I say take something else.
Okay.
I say take something else, but we'll have our own drinks section in which I will give you coffee and I will gladly take orange juice.
Okay.
So
okay.
I will
so now I just
that.
want to oatmeal. I eat oatmeal a lot in the morning. But I think it'd be a late.
Yeah, you had a pre-combine, right?
Yeah, overnight oats.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. I'm there are meals on the board. There's a country fried steak on the board. But we will just go with the egg. You can do so much with it. You can make it, scrambled over easy, poach it, hard boiled.
I was going sunny side up, yeah.
Yeah, sunny side up. I mean, you can add you could do a hot sauce with eggs. You can do a lot of cheese with eggs. You could do ham with eggs. It's something I do every once in a while. It's nice and easy. It only takes like 5 minutes to make scrambled eggs in the morning. It's a very versatile pick. You can't go wrong with this guy on your team.
Obviously, I mean, there's a standout candidate for side dishes. I myself think that this is quite honestly one of the most overrated yet still kind of delicious. But completely overrated and overhyped 100%. And to a disgusting degree. Bacon. And nobody needs bacon-flavored soda. Nobody needs bacon-flavored candy.
Yes.
This is all stupid. This is, pointless. So it's overhyped. It's good, but it has to be made right, too. If it's too crispy, it's not as beautiful as a Kraft.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
It needs to be the right mixture of crispy and chewy at the same exact time. There got to be that one crease part, that loop that's chewy, and then at the end of it, it's got to be crunchy. You got to do it just right. There's got to be the right person to do it, and you can mix it in with so many things. My favorite thing, and one of the most underrated draft picks that was left out that I almost picked, toast.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you could do, like I said, sunny side up eggs, right? You put toast, right? You put egg, and then you put bacon. Bam, breakfast sandwich.
Breakfast sandwich. I almost went with a breakfast sandwich. Yeah.
There's so much that you could choose from. Unfortunately, it's time to end the show, though. Solid pick. Obviously, I'm rounding mine out with orange juice because you had coffee. The original team: omelet, waffles, breakfast burritos, crepe, bacon, orange juice, and then yours was skillet, pancakes, biscuits and gravy, donuts, egg, and coffee. My family probably says that you stole that draft because, hey, congratulations, buddy. You had biscuits and gravy. I'm clapping with my bad hand for you.
Oh, I love biscuits and gravy. Are so good. It's so underrated.
It's a family classic.
I would say this either way. I could see it going either way, but I think the winner won this 51-49. I think both drafts were very, very
I think that if there's ever been a draft that we've tied, I think this one is surefire. This has got to be the one.
I agree.
There's no, oh my God, you picked that kind of pick. There wasn't a single moment in which I was fuming, so that's a plus. But yes, so absolutely, great time, great news. I mean, I think that we're done for free agency for the day. I think that the news has stopped so far. So this is it. Thank you so much for tuning into the Pigskin Project. We'll see you guys next week. Big thank you to Overtime Sports Network, Rachel Radio Sports Network, Uppercuts Grooming, which I will see shortly. And, there was other, Anchor.fm, which has turned into Spotify for podcasters. So I'll just say Spotify from now on, for helping us kind of branch out and reach new horizons for our listeners. If you tuned in today, thank you so much. Hopefully you left a like on it. We saw somebody did, so salute to you, sir or ma'am. So if you haven't done that yet, please give us a hand at doing so. That'd be great. Follow us on TikTok and Twitter. And without further ado, guys, tune into our mock draft because we're going to be doing that here shortly. And if you're listening after Thursday or during Thursday morning, hey, there's a mock draft out. Go listen to it. Okay. Anyways, without further ado, this has been the Pigskin Project, and we'll see you guys next week.